I think that the key to success in the investment banking division is getting your ideas and thoughts across to other people.
I've been very passionate about my job. I enjoy being an equity analyst, and I'm very happy that Morgan Stanley.
Most people would find it quite surprising that a lot of the things I do on my job is not just about numbers, but rather it's more important to understand the context of what we are dealing with.
Everything is not enough. Really hot by the ocean. Among all those white hot sands, where every sunrise is just for you. So come along and take my hand.
Sure. Nice to meet you. My name is Miwaseki. Although probably more people in Japan know me as a translator of Factfulness, a million seller book here. And I've translated more than 50 business publications in the last 10 years, including Peter Thiel's 021, more recently John Carreyrou's Bad Blood, about Theranos' story, and many other books. I've developed my career in finance previously. I started my career actually in Dentsu, an advertising agency, which didn't last long, less than 1 year, and moved to Clay Finley, which was in Yurakucho Denkibiru before. And then went to business school, met with Yumiko, that's where we met, and moved to a company called Clay Finley, which was managing global equities for U.S. pension fund, and I was a Japanese portfolio manager, managing a concentrated growth public equities here in Japan, where I invested in Uniqlo and Nitori, and SoftBank and other stocks. That's where I met Kathy, and we share the same maiden name. My maiden name's Matsuo Murakami, and Matsui, that's where M powers M came from. And we also share the birth month and the birth year. So we...
25.
Yes. We've been celebrating birthdays together, and about a couple of years ago, we were discussing about what next. And we thought there would be an opportunity for women-led venture capital where the industry, which is even more male-dominated and homogeneous than the traditional investment banks. Nice to meet you. What's up?
Patricia mentioned about patents. My question is our current patent system hurting our ability to spread technology quickly? So here you go.
Great, thank you. I would leave it to Patricia about the patent point, but I'd love to talk in general about finding and evaluating new ideas. So again, I'll start with quite a soft concept. So I like the approach of first being very holistic, and I'll explain a little bit more about why and what that means, and also interdisciplinary. So again, there's various types of clean tech technology that you heard today, whether it's biofuels to green hydrogen, et cetera. But again, this interdisciplinary approach I think is very important. And so for a fund like us, we approach it in a way that there are experts in the field that we have as advisors, whether it's in the technology field, in the bioscience field, but also AI scientists, data scientists that we talk upon to get their insights. And that's really crucial because if there's a technology but that's hard to commercialize, we won't be able to see the benefits of that because it needs to scale and it really needs to reach people for it to have an impact on the environment. So the interdisciplinary aspect we find very important. And that also encompasses different ideas from across the world. So we look at companies globally, even though a majority of our investments will be in Japan. We look at companies in Southeast Asia, India, et cetera. So we really truly have that approach of innovation really can come from anywhere. And we try to have an open mindset. Another point I'd like to emphasize about holistic is that these climate technologies, it's quite difficult truly to assess. I'm still learning. But what that means is there are pros and cons for each approach. There's opportunity cost. So as Patricia mentioned, it's very odd in this segment where some things are touted as green or carbon neutral, carbon positive. But when you look into it, when you consider the supply chain aspect, how do you ship that to one sector to another, one region to another, holistically, sometimes it's not carbon neutral or carbon positive. So we really try to look at all the approaches, make sure we're doing our calculations properly. And that's not easy. And again, we do that through combining a lot of experts in the field and having these open discussions. So that's one way. Another one is it's a little bit of a different point, but we as an ESG fund like to look at the ESG aspect of the business itself. So even if it is a clean tech company and doing great things in terms of carbon neutrality, sometimes we found that those companies themselves are not really thinking about their own emissions. And so they're producing great technologies to reduce emissions, but sometimes they're not thinking about, okay, how can they reduce their carbon footprint in their operations? Or even the S side, how can they further promote employee social well-being? And we think that's important going forward for all companies. And so we really look at that when evaluating new companies.
Okay.
I think that the key to success in the investment banking division is getting your ideas and thoughts across to other people. I am Yuki, investment banking at Morgan Stanley. What we do in investment banking is we give advisory services to corporate clients to help them make important strategic decisions, including mergers and acquisitions or divestments. And we also help them to raise capital when they need it. Being able to work with corporate clients is something that I really enjoy about my job. So at Morgan Stanley, I have been given opportunities to talk with other female bankers, not just within my division, but also across different divisions. And I think hearing about how they have developed their careers and how they balance their work and their personal lives has really helped my motivation. I am Yuki, and we are Morgan Stanley.
I've been very passionate about my job. I enjoy being an equity analyst, and I'm very happy that Morgan Stanley was very supportive to pursue my career and having a family at the same time. I'm Mia Nagasaka, Executive Director, Tokyo Equity Research at Morgan Stanley. In Japan, it has been very difficult to do both, pursuing a career and becoming a working mother or taking care of your family. We're facing these demographic challenges that we're already in an aging society. Quite a lot of people might need to take care of the families, their parents, so it's really critical to be more flexible. Japan is changing. It's still at the beginning stage. We're seeing more dynamic changes. We're seeing more female opportunities doing both career and taking care of families, and this trend will accelerate. What I would tell a high school girl in Japan is aim high. I'm Mia Nagasaka, and we are Morgan Stanley.
Most people would find it quite surprising that a lot of the things I do on my job is not just about numbers, but rather it's more important to understand the context of what we are dealing with. I am Tomoko, fixed income at Morgan Stanley. My role is to analyze distressed companies and also to look at companies in need of liquidity. Creativity is important in my job because we have to understand every single scenario that could possibly happen to the company we are looking at. At the end of the day, behind each company, there are people working. So understanding what they think, that kind of context is way more important than just looking at the trend or the statistics alone. I am Tomoko, and we are Morgan Stanley.